Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back, and we're back here with another video, and I'm just going to save you guys the trouble. The best generation of Civic Si, hands down, is definitely the 99 to 2000 Civic Si, and if you live here in Canada, like how I do, it's called the SIR. That's pretty much hands down the best Civic Si when it comes in terms of looks, character, and everything else. Yeah, it may not be the fastest out of it's really not that fast at all. I think it's pretty much the same as a Honda CR-V, but yeah, anyways, I'm just kidding, guys. We're going to be talking about pretty much what is the best modern day Civic to daily drive / have fun in. So this kind of depends on your taste and your preferences and everything. Even if you kind of just prefer something newer, I'm going to take that into consideration as well. So I think it's going to be sort of a pretty accurate ranking of mine, since I've driven many generations. I've driven 4th generations, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and recently just 11th gen, and I was I had a very lucky opportunity to drive the Type S a while back. But we're gonna say what is the best modern day Civic. So I'm gonna sort of close in on the 8th generation, the 9th generation, the 10th, and the current 11th generation Civics. Now, I'm just gonna go right off the bat. I'm gonna start off with the 8th gen because obviously we're in one, and I'm gonna try to be as unbiased as possible. So the 8th generation Civic Si pretty much is what people will say is the last real Civic Si. What I mean by real is pretty much what Honda was known for in the past. They were known for their K-series engines, their B-series engines, their 8-series engines, but most notably, they were known for VTEC. That's what they were known for. You know, that 200 horsepower, 1.8, 1.6, 2 liter, all different kind of sizes. They were just known for their VTEC engines. Didn't really matter which model it was, but they were just known for that. And the 8th generation Civic Si is the last Civic Si that was released that you can kind of get that experience from. Now, if you're a purist, that pretty much is the right path for you. The only downside to having an 8th gen, it's just a little bit older. It's not as modern, but it does have pretty much all the modern safety features. It has side curtain airbag. It pretty much has airbags everywhere. I'm not sure if the 6th, I don't think the 6th generation had these, but for when it comes for safety wise, and trust me, I've seen some pretty bad accidents with the 8th gen and they survived, thank goodness. They were okay. That just goes to show, there is safety, but it's just a little bit on the older side. It is more of an involved driving experience. You feel a little bit more connected to the car. It feels a little bit more raw, and it's just pretty much quintessential Honda. And one big plus that I've pointed out before in my previous videos as well, this was the 1st generation of Civic to actually have a mechanical limited slip differential. Now, I'm not talking about the Type R, I'm just specifically talking about the Civic Si's in this video. This was the 1st generation to ever come standard with limited slip differential. And that made a huge difference in the way this feels, in the way it grips through corners. It pretty much makes front wheel drive really fun. And if you're like me, and also if you're a little bit more edgy, like you like a little bit more hardcore, kind of stuff like that, kind of on the lines of a Porsche GT3, it's kind of the same thing. A really well-balanced vehicle, rear engine, rear wheel drive, high revving, naturally aspirated. It's kind of in the same vein, but obviously Porsche is like way up there and Honda's like pretty much at the bottom. if you want to compare the two, you can't really compare. So yeah, that's pretty much why you would want to choose the 8th generation. Now, moving on to the 9th generation, this Civic was introduced in 2012, and it had a face just like the 8th gen. It had a facelift. I'm not going to get too much into it, but I will point out in this one, because it is a little bit interesting, there was only there was a pre-facelift and a facelift. The pre-facelift only lasted a year because I guess people just didn't like the styling all that much, although I thought the coupe was fine. The sedan is really where that trouble kind of started. Now, the biggest difference from the 8th to 9th, I would definitely say it is more of a dailyable drive car. It's a little bit more softer. It's a little bit more refined. You don't really lose that Honda charm. You have a nice K24 in it. It does provide a little bit more torque because obviously the vehicle is a little bit heavier. But at the same time, I don't really want to discredit it because it's got heavier. Maybe the handling got a little bit slightly worse, but you know, there's nothing that modifications that can fix, and it can be still pretty as capable as the 8th generation, just a little bit more softer. And this is the car I would recommend, you know, if you don't want to be too old, but at the same time you don't want to spend too much money. It's sort of like the happy medium. You're getting, even though like the infotainment and all the systems are pretty outdated. I'm talking from an old car. I've owned a lot of old cars that don't have those things, and it is a nice upgrade. You have the side camera on the right, which gets you a nice view when you put on the right indicator. It puts on your blind spot monitor, which is a really, really cool feature. But it's a really, really nice car. Like, comparing it to the 8th gen, the interior is a little bit better. The only thing I will knock in the interior, many people say it has like too much going on, it's too busy. I'll be totally honest with you guys. In this day and age, I've driven the Mark 8 GTI. That car was pretty much all screen. It was touch screen. And compared to the Civic was obviously a little bit better. I mean, people say it's a little bit busy, but it is functional and it works pretty well. Like, I had no issues with it, and it was pretty nice to have that in a daily drive car. Now, I've seen plenty of people put in aftermarket decks and stuff like that. Yeah, pretty much it's not a bad vehicle. This is sort of like the happy medium if you want modern technology, you want, backup camera and all that stuff, but you still want that, naturally aspirated Honda. Granted, the K24 doesn't rev as high as the K20. Both are pretty close, but if you want to get really nitty gritty, a lot of people say, the K20 is better because it has a better intake manifold and all that stuff. But for a daily drive car, I would say it's definitely way more comfortable in the 8th gen. It's way more tolerable. If I do get an opportunity to film a 9th gen, I will definitely film one again. And it's not a bad car to be in at all. It's a really nice place to be. The only complaint I would have about the 9th gens, like I said before, it is a little bit softer. But again, you can put some coilovers, stiffen that car up, and she'll be good to go. The only downside, I would say, maybe the preface sedan was kind of boring looking, just wasn't really feeling it. And I guess it was a little bit more softer. That's pretty much it for me. Other than that, it's a pretty good daily driver. Now, the 10th gen, this is where I kind of recommend, let's say if you're new to Honda, you really want to get into Hondas, this is probably a good car to buy. It is relatively cheap. Well, when I say relatively cheap, it's not so cheap, but it's not too expensive. Again, it's in that nice middle area where it's not exorbitantly expensive. I've seen the prices gone down a bit. The last time I checked, they were about I would say they were about 30 grand. Hold on here, just give me a second, guys. Years ago, they were worth 30 grand, and I'm talking about conditions I would actually buy in it. Like, I'm not just talking about I just go on a website, I find a Honda Civic Si, and boom. No, it's actually one that I would consider buying, which means it's up to my standards. Because I'll tell you straight up right now, this is sort of a dark side of the Honda community. A lot of Honda Civic Si's, especially that are modified, are usually crap. They're usually modified incorrectly. The owners just beat them. They just don't really take care of the vehicle because they just go on the whole image of, oh, it's so reliable, so I don't really need to maintain it. It can take the abuse. And, at the end of the day, it's a car. Things will wear out. That's just how it is. No car is invincible, even though it might be really reliable. Just make sure the maintenance is all done on the car. Make sure those valves are nice and clean because this is a direct injection engine, and just do all the maintenance you can because these Civics are, I don't want to say they're still relatively new, but they're not like terribly old, so you can probably still get one with lower mileage. Now, this one is a little bit different. This is sort of the opposite to Honda's. It's sort of the reverse now. So it is a smaller displacement engine, but it is turbocharged and it produces a lot more torque. This generation, I will definitely say, probably would be the best for daily driving because of its turbo. It makes good mid-range power and also down low, which means when you're driving normally around town, you won't have to press the gas as much. Oh, I can't even speak. You wouldn't have to press the gas as much. And, you know, it's just a pretty comfortable ride. Like, there's less effort. So let's say, you know, you had a really bad day at work, you just want to get home, even though a car might cheer you up. You know, there's just some of those days you're just really down and you just want to chill and cruise on home and you don't want to deal with, you know, all those things that come with a modified car. It's very, very easy to drive. The clutch is nice and light. And thanks to that torque down low, it is amazing. Definitely very comfortable. I mean, I could have sped through, but I just didn't feel like it. The interior on those are really nice. I like the seats. They're obviously SI seats. I have to say, throughout the generations, I'll throw in the seventh generation, that the hatchback, it has some good seats. The 8 Gen has really good seats. Like, I'm not usually a big fan of stock seats, depending on the car, but these are pretty damn good. Like, for daily driving, they're pretty comfortable. They're well bolstered. When you're having fun with the boys in the corners, you know, it holds you in really good. So yeah, going back to what I was saying, the 10th Gen is probably one of the best daily drivers you can buy because it's in that sweet spot where, you know, it's a really good used car now. They're about in that space. I would say you'll find most of them with, I would say anywhere from, on the low side, probably 40,000 kilometers all the way up to 100. So you can get one that's under, you can still get some that are under 100K for a pretty good price. And very good daily drivers. The engine, there's a lot of potential. You can modify it. And it is a turbo, so, you know, you don't have to deal with naturally aspirated problems. Now, I will say this is the best daily driver because it is very easy to drive. For example, the 8th generation that I'm driving right now, it might be, you know, better on the responsive side, but it doesn't have really that much torque down low. And just to get the car moving off of slower speeds, you saw that that SUV that I think it was like a Toyota or whatever, it just took off. It just simply just doesn't have the torque down low like the turbo does. See here? Nothing. And the car goes. That's just how it is. And if you're gonna get any kind of power on this, you gotta go up high. And it's just, you know, you don't really want to think about that. You just want a nice, easy driving experience. And the 10th Gen delivers that. The only complaint, honestly, probably the HDMI exhaust, not my favorite. And that piped-in audio, I believe the piped-in audio came in 2019 or 2020. So yeah, I would definitely unplug that shit. Now, this may surprise you. This may surprise a lot of people. The best generation Civic to date, I definitely think it's the latest one. Now, hear me out. This car pretty much went back to Honda, what Honda was known for. Honda made very conservative looking vehicles, even their, you know, performance versions like the SI back in the day, you know, they were very subtle. You know, they didn't have many SI badging. It just blended in with traffic, and that was part of the charm. It wasn't, you know, too over styled or anything like that. And it was really good to see Honda kind of going back in that direction, although a lot of people will say, oh, it's kind of boring and stuff like that. The refresh did help that out a little bit. The body lines kind of reminded me of an Audi a little bit. Oh, there's a GLI right there. I actually thought about reviewing this car. I have a buddy who has one. Thought about giving it a go because it's sort of a car that's, I think, kind of slept on. And you can get it for a pretty good price. So put down in the comments if you guys want me to do a little POV, a little review on that car, or just, you know, just me just mashing the throttle, going crazy everywhere. So yeah, going back to what I was saying. So the 11th Gen probably hands down, I think the best out of them all, because it's modern, it's got turbo, but the interior, it's really simple. Just everything to the touch, like turning the knobs, everything just felt like good quality. Like, you know, Toyota, you'll know Toyota and Honda plastics will last a very long time. I got that from that vehicle. Yes, the engine, it's not a K series, you know, you don't have that, you know, VTEC crossover and that craziness, but that's what the Civic is all about. It's pretty much a car that can do it all. You know, if you're like me, you know, you want that little bit of edge in corners, you can do that without, you know, without the car being really taxing. Like, you're not breaking your teeth when you're driving, even though it's a pretty stiff car. And that's what I've always loved about it. And that's another car I would like to review, the 11th generation, and kind of tell my thoughts about that car. Mostly, you know, a lot of people probably about the engine, because in a previous video that I did, you know, why everyone hates the 1.5 liter, I actually don't hate it. I think like it's pretty cool. I was actually very, very early. I was very early on when it came to like making big power. I kind of wanted to see what kind of power these made. That's just my curiosity. And I think you can make like 360 to the wheel, obviously, you know, head studs, you know, gaskets and stuff like that, and bigger turbos and all that stuff like that. And if you build it, oh my god, they sound really mean. It's just like a kind of sound. I'm like, holy crap, so angry. This happy Civic, happy humble Civic is so angry. I'm like, damn. But it's just a different experience. That's all what it is, you know. It's just a different experience. Not hating on it. I guess a lot of people hate it because it's human nature. When you do such a dramatic change with anything, you know, there's always going to be people saying, oh, this, you know, the old one was better, and da-da-da. You're always going to have people that complain. Just be happy that Honda still has the car in production, because a lot of enthusiast cars are going away. A lot of people are just getting rid of their sports cars, enthusiast cars, and we're just literally been left with SUVs, hybrids, electric vehicles. Although there are some electric vehicles that are sporty, you know, there's a lot of us here that still like our cars that run on dinosaur juice. There's still a lot of us out here. So I would say the best modern day Civic, I would say it all depends on your preference. If you want my personal opinion, I think the 11th gen is probably the best. But it all depends on your taste. So if you want something, again, if you want something really hardcore, you know, you're feeling that Porsche GT3, just watching that red line go to 9,000. In Honda's case, it goes to 8,000. You know, if you want to experience that, you just want that real raw character. What Honda's known for, the 8th gen is for you. If you want the best of both worlds, the 9th gen is really good. You still got that K24, it still makes a good sound, and there's a lot more torque to the K20, so it is again a little bit more easier to drive. The best daily driver, if you want something that's, you know, very quick, very tossable, it's kind of stylish, and it's actually pretty good compared to some of the competition in terms of value when it comes to handling. There's not a lot of front wheel drive cars that match the handling of that. You know, it's crazy to say that. And the best overall, if you have the money, go with the 11th generation. It is a huge improvement over the 10th generation, even in handling, and they have sorted out all the kinks with the 1.5 liter turbo, the L15. And I do believe they've changed the power band a little bit. They've changed it to be to make a little bit more power in the upper range. So I think they definitely listen to their customers, and it worked out for the best. So yeah, that's pretty much what I think is the best generation. But what do you guys think? Which generation of Civic would you guys choose to, you know, own? Pretty much. All right, guys. Peace out.